What if I told you that behind Marilyn Monroe's dazzling smile lay a mind hungry for the deepest secrets of the universe? And what if the world's greatest genius, Albert Einstein, became her unlikely teacher in the final months before her mysterious death? Picture this: Hollywood, 1961. The golden age is fading, and beneath the glittering surface, shadows grow longer. In a small apartment overlooking Sunset Boulevard, Marilyn Monroe sits at her writing desk, her platinum hair catching the amber light of a table lamp. The scent of jasmine drifts through the open window. She carefully crafts a letter, not to another Hollywood star or powerful studio executive, but to Albert Einstein, the man who unlocked the secrets of time and space. But why would America's most famous blonde bombshell reach out to the world's most celebrated physicist? The answer lies in a story that Hollywood buried so deep, it took 60 years for the truth to surface. It began in 1955 at a charity dinner in Princeton. Monroe, there to support educational causes, found herself seated next to the aging Einstein. While others expected small talk about movies and fame, something extraordinary happened. Monroe began asking questions about relativity, about the nature of time, about whether the universe had a beginning. Einstein, initially surprised, soon realized he was speaking with a mind far more complex than the world believed. Imagine discovering this just weeks before your wedding. What would you do? Because that's exactly what happened to Monroe in 1961, when she learned that her public image had become a prison, preventing her from pursuing the intellectual life she desperately craved. Their correspondence, hidden in Einstein's personal papers and only recently discovered by researchers at Princeton University, reveals a side of Monroe that would shock the world. In letter after letter, she wrestled with concepts that challenged even graduate students. She wrote about loneliness, about feeling trapped in a beautiful shell, while her mind yearned for something deeper. Einstein, moved by her genuine curiosity and perhaps seeing something of his own outsider status in her struggle, became her mentor. He sent her books, explained complex theories in simple terms, and most remarkably, encouraged her to trust her own intelligence. The musty smell of old books filled Monroe's dressing room as she devoured works on physics and philosophy between takes on movie sets. But here's where the story takes a darker turn, one that connects to the very foundations of the Cold War. You'll soon discover that Monroe's relationship with Einstein attracted the attention of people who preferred America's sweetheart to remain just that, nothing more. FBI files, declassified only in 2019, reveal that J. Edgar Hoover viewed Monroe's intellectual awakening as a potential security threat. In the paranoid atmosphere of the early 1960s, a movie star who asked probing questions about nuclear physics and space exploration raised red flags. The same beauty that made her famous now made her dangerous. Stay with me, because what happened next changes everything we thought we knew about Monroe's final days. In March 1962, just 5 months before her death, Monroe received what would be Einstein's final letter to her. Written in his careful handwriting on Princeton University letterhead, the letter contained something unexpected, a warning. Einstein, now seriously ill, had learned through colleagues that Monroe was being watched. He urged her to be careful, to perhaps step back from their correspondence for her own safety. The letter also contained something else, something that investigators believe may have sealed Monroe's fate. Einstein shared with her a secret about the Manhattan Project, about decisions made during the war that haunted him. He wrote about the weight of knowledge, about how understanding the universe's deepest truths sometimes came with unbearable responsibility. Which side do you believe, the official story or the hidden documents? Tell us below. The cold marble steps of the Princeton Library had witnessed their only other meeting in early 1962, just weeks before Einstein's warning letter. Witnesses described an unusual scene. Monroe, dressed simply in a gray coat, walking slowly beside the frail physicist as they discussed the moral implications of scientific discovery. Einstein's voice, barely above a whisper, carried the weight of decades as he spoke about the atomic bomb and the scientist's duty to humanity. Here's what the official records won't tell you. Monroe kept a diary during these final months, filled with equations she was learning, philosophical questions that kept her awake at night, and growing fears about people watching her. The diary vanished from her home the night she died, along with Einstein's letters. Those who knew Monroe in her final weeks describe a woman transformed. The breathless, childlike voice was often replaced by serious conversations about space exploration, about the possibility of life beyond Earth, about humanity's place in the cosmos. Her acting coach, Lee Strasberg, later said she had become a different person, as if she had discovered a secret door in her own mind. The bitter irony cuts deep. As Monroe grew intellectually, the world seemed determined to keep her in her gilded cage. Studio executives noticed the change and didn't like it. A thinking Marilyn Monroe was not the profitable commodity they had created. In the sweltering heat of that August night in 1962, when Monroe was found dead in her Brentwood home, investigators discovered something peculiar. Her phone records showed a call to Princeton University just hours before her death, though no one could determine who she had tried to reach. Einstein had been dead for 7 years, but his former colleagues remained. The official cause of death was ruled a probable suicide, but questions persist. Why were her personal papers so thoroughly cleaned out? Why did the FBI maintain a file on her intellectual activities? And why has it taken 60 years for the Einstein correspondence to surface? Perhaps the most haunting detail comes from Monroe's housekeeper, who reported that in her final days, Monroe would often stare at the night sky through her bedroom window, whispering calculations to herself, as if trying to solve one last equation that Einstein had left unfinished. The truth about Marilyn Monroe is more complex than any Hollywood script. She was not just a beautiful face who captured hearts. She was a brilliant mind who dared to reach for the stars, even when the world insisted she remain earthbound. Here is the song that Marilyn loved the most. See you in the next video.